There's that funky slide guitar music that comes out every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on the EvoP Network, Rumble X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type, and all those good guys on that. Man, what a weekend coming up, of course. The big bombing attacks hitting Iran, the Ayatollah, and 40 or 50 of the yo-hos over there are now, as Rush Limbaugh used to say, room at temperatures a year, if they ever get it operational, which we know they will never do. And if they did get it running in the year 3042, it's going to cost $12 billion a year. That's over and above what they're going to take in on the rates of whatever they think they can charge of the people who are not going to ride the bullet train from Wasco to Merced. Delve into that issue a little bit more. Carl DeMaio officially turns in the 1.35 million signatures, maybe.
Shocking scene on the 91 freeway in Lakewood. A small boat flew over the median, crashed into the westbound lanes. Cameras on a Tesla caught this video yesterday. CHP says the car was slightly damaged by the boat, but thankfully no one was injured. We're told a U-Haul truck may have been pulling the boat in the carpool lane illegally. Authorities say whoever was pulling that boat never stopped.
No kidding. How'd you like to have the coming across the freeway? It's lucky that it stopped, looks like in the carpool lane, which is another reason we got to get rid of these carpool lanes. Because there was, again, hardly anybody in there. Again, although traffic didn't look too bad, it didn't exactly say when this was, but it didn't obviously look at like rush hour. Now we have the whole attack that we woke up to on Saturday morning. Invasion of Iran. The Ayatollah and his big chiefs or whatever were blown to smithereens. And again, I'm not the biggest war guy in the world mostly, and you go to war very judiciously. But again, I'm not sitting in Trump's shoes or whatever, so... And this, like the Cuba deal, if it proves out to be right, and there was nuclear weapons being readied by Iran, which should not have them, then this assault will be justified. But I want to play this little parody piece, and this is one few good things about AI, or however this was, I'm assuming this was generated by AI. And not to make light of war, but this is one few good
Anyway, enjoy your new freedom, people. We're going to have bikini parties, all-you-can-eat buffets, dancing to country music, and singing karaoke all night.
That was a good AI generated video, I thought. And if you don't like it, tough, don't watch. But seriously, I mean, the Ayatollah or whatever did. He thought Trump would not Maduro his ass. Well, he didn't. He killed him. Maduro, at least he took him as a prisoner and brought him over here for trial. Maduro's still breathing. And the greater part of that is, ladies, Now you potentially will be free in Iran or maybe the rest of the Middle East instead of be using as sex slaves and pawns and treated like S, as the prodigy Trumpster said. Obtain nuclear weapons. I believe the strikes on Iran are justified. But here's some of the people from Iran living in the United States. Let's get their take on it.
Trump, you can't imagine how we are appreciate our country, our people. I'm really appreciate. We love you.
Thank you, Mr. President Trump. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you, Mr. President. Dear Mr. President Trump.
Trump, kill Khamenei. I'm so happy. Thanks, Trump. Thanks, Trump. You are the best man in the world.
It's nice to see people who have immigrated into the United States thanking Trump and the USA instead of telling us what a bunch of pieces of S we are. It's refreshing to see people acting like human beings and being grateful for someone else helping them out big time. I wish some others would duly take note and copy what the Iranian people are doing, being thankful for the opportunities you're given, thankful for what the USA is doing for you and your countries, like going down to Mexico and starting to weed out the cartels, freeing Venezuela, getting rid of Maduro. Be nice if some others would appreciate the USA and President Donald J. Trump. Are we going to treat each other like human beings, or is it all for me and F you, like this guy? Great reporter Ashley Zavala was up, and we'll get to, hopefully tomorrow, we'll get to the treatment not tense, or dumping more money down the vagrancy rat hole. That was the press conference was about. But the great Ashley Zavala asked Gavin Newsom, who only cares about Gavin Newsom, hey, what about all this, we're reliant, you made us reliant on foreign fuel, not only oil, but refined products. Gas has been going up 50 cents a gallon in the last month when it's went down 10 cents. And of course, it's probably going to go up about 5, 10, maybe 15, 20 cents at a maximum, depending how long this Iran thing goes. And the Strait of Hormuz and all that, which is another strategic. China's the one that gets most of the oil from Iran. So I say, piss on those CCP MFers. They should, when this is all over, they shouldn't get a drop. But anyway, this is Ashley Zavala at the press conference asking this from our ever-increasingly totally evil governor, thinks he's going to be president, Gavin Newsom.
From an economy that's slowing down with the worst job growth since 2013, inflation that is now going back up. The only saving grace was gas prices, and now they're spiking up.
First off, the BS meter just blew up. And then he asked him, well, the only thing was gas prices were going down. Not in California. fool, because of you. And you got us even more dependent, not only on foreign oil, but foreign refined gas. We can't even refine the oil here in California because you and your policies have closed down darn near every gas and diesel and airplane refinery in the state. You communist piece of crap.
Markets are down. Crypto has collapsed. He said we would become wealthier and healthier under his administration. We're sicker and poorer.
Real wage job growth. Stupid. 1.5% in the first year of Trump. It was 4% down under Biden and you. Real wage job growth is in the tank in California in your 8 years, a-hole.
And now we have Gulf allies that are being attacked. We have American planes that are literally being shot down by American allies. We have to reconcile why our bombs were...
No pilots injured. And there is something called friendly fire, stupid, that you wouldn't know about in military operations. Sometimes people make mistakes or misread a target, which happened over Kuwait. And I think they shot down 6 planes. All pilots ejected safely, no injuries reported.
Used, or Israeli bombs were used to kill children, young girls at a school, and what the imminent threat was. It hasn't been described.
Yes, it is. They were going to get nuclear weapons, stupid. And you little ladies back there nodding your head, why don't you move back to Iran? Put the little towel on your head and cover your face and not be able to do anything without a man telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. That's what you want? I don't think the people that lived that in Iran sure as hell don't want it.
Again, what was described today extensively were the beautiful ballroom and the curtains in the White House.
What the hell is he talking about? He makes no sense. He may be fairly articulate at making no sense. He's lying, making no sense, bringing up, again, just deflect, magician, waving the right hand while he's pulling the trick with his left. That's Gavin Newsom.
Next question.
With the oil, sorry, just a quick follow-up with the oil situation. I mean, the state is going to have to start bringing in a lot of fuel from other countries. And just, are you worried about how a global conflict could impact the price of energy in the state?
Well, that's by definition.
So it's hard to hear Ashley, but she said, yeah, right. You, ding dong. She didn't say that, but she should have. I would have. Well, maybe not. I could have. Anyway, stupid, you're the one that's got us in this situation. You had rising gas prices in California because of your policies, and now we're more dependent on foreign oil and foreign refineries and foreign shipping companies and putting more pollution that we're all going to die of diesel smoke in the air from your policies, and you're going to blame Trump.
And my comments align with that concern. Look, the Straits of Hormuz is about 20% of oil distributed, 21 billion barrels a day that go through there. Most
of it going to China. Screw the China CCP regime, Gavin. Good. Shut it off. And if we do get control of the oil in Iran, not a drop goes to China. Not a frickin' drop. Although, and you won't be getting, those nice brown paper sacks that seem to wind up on your porch. What, probably weekly, monthly, daily?
of it, though, to Asia, disproportionate amount to China. But those impacts are being felt because the global nature of pricing in the system. You've got a number of Iranian vessels that were directly impacted.
The global nature of Iran. How about the California screwed up policy of you of closing down practically every gas and oil and diesel aviation fuel refinery in California is impacting California? We're 50% higher than the national frickin' average, you buffoon.
Oil tankers. We've got, again, Gulf allies that are almost universally being attacked and under assault. Safe places like the UAE under attack, under assault. It's now a proxy war that's extended in Lebanon and Hezbollah. You saw the actions there and the deaths and the likely retaliation. So now we have the prospect of a regional war. And so, yes, we're specifically to your question and give you a little bit of...
Finally, he's going to specifically get to the question. Hezbollah, we're supporting Hezbollah, Gavin. You're not supporting the people of Iran. The people in California, the biggest population, are loving Trump, and you're telling them, F you, you piece of trash.
Background and insight, had extensive conversations over the weekend, gaming out worst-case scenarios as a...
Yeah, the worst-case scenarios you have created for everyone, almost 40 million people in California. Your policies. You won't suspend the 61 cent a gallon gas tax. That still means you're probably collecting $1.50 a gallon. Even if you suspend that, no. How about drill, baby, drill? How about releasing? How about all of the jobs that would be created, all the wealth that would be created, all the expenses that would be come down because we would have cheap energy in California? Not only gas, diesel, and that, and then we can get onto the electricity, but I won't do that because my head will literally explode.
Relates to access of imports, as it relates to the ongoing issues around refineries, as it relates to past impacts of similar endeavors in the Middle East and what we can anticipate. And so the whole energy team was on call this weekend, gaming those things out, and including access to airline fuel in specific terms. That was also part of our strategy. The good news.
Benicia was the biggest. Well, Benicia and Phillips 66 refined almost all of the aviation fuel. And Benicia's down. Phillips 66 plant down in Torrance will be closed in a month or two because of your actions. That's what your gaming of the system has done.
As you know well, because of those refinery issues, we've got a wonderful group of people that are meeting on a consistent basis already. This just only reinforces the concerns we have as it relates to gas scarcity or potential just spiking of prices in the next days, weeks, and potentially months, as Donald Trump said today, that this could be months and months of
he said 4 to 6 weeks.
Additional attacks, and in return, the likelihood that we're going to see the prospect of more uncertainty, not just around the globe, but here domestically, along the lines of what happened in Austin.
Yes. The overseas thing will be taken across months. In a month or two. You have created a untenable situation where Californians are going to pay 50%, 100%, 200% more for gas, electricity, natural gas, water, and every other resource that we should be the cheapest in the freaking nation are. And we were when this was once the Golden State before you and your ilk destroyed it. It's absolutely stunningly stupid what we've done to ourselves in California. 1,000%. I don't know how we got well, I do know. A lot of geotechnical, political things we've been over for many, many a moon. But we need to straighten this crap out. Carl DeMaio turned in the 1.35 million signatures for voter ID. That's going to be a big help. Top 2 in June will be another humongous firecracker going across the bow that we can finally start reversing some of the stupid policies we have here in California, which are going absolutely 5,000% sideways. Want to get to the embattled Moreno Valley Mall, another con job extraordinaire that's went on through the 80s to tearing down the river. The iconic, worshipped Riverside International Raceway, and the whole con deal across that. Now we're going down, now it's down to the point where the city has shut it down. And the latest, I believe, con, and I think the evidence is going to show this, 9,432%. So a little more than a year ago, they brought this proposal, the city's going to dump tens of millions of dollars into this museum and entertainment center, and we're going to have Donald Duck running around, and people are going to fly from New Zealand and Russia and Cuba and everyone to come see this. So, of course, someone steps up to the plate before the city council passes this and was warned not to dump tens of millions of dollars of our taxpayer money down a rat hole, down a con. Let's see what happened January 7th, 2025. At the authorized a property lease agreement and professional service agreement to create and operate an immersive museum and art facility. Well, the nice, shiny, gold-plated words. Here we go. You're going to recognize this guy. Wile E. Coyote here. Hyper genius. President, Chief Executive Officer of the Acme conglomerate. I'm coming before you, Shark Tank investment banker. I got a plan to sell you. Give me $5 million, $1.5 million, and I hope somebody's going to show up. Maybe we will entice some people to come in here. By the way, I have no budget plan on how this is going to work, but give me the money. That's essentially what you heard here tonight. If this town is ever going to have a scintilla of credibility, each and every one of you sitting on that dais, sitting in this well, needs to get your act together. The fact that none of these questions came out from the dais after the report, maybe even more stunning or shocking, well, maybe not, because it's Moreno Valley. Well, this all could have been avoided when you came with the whole arts thing and the murals. You had 70 grand of a deal. If we'd have started with that and then built upon it or see how it works, we wouldn't have the contention or the character assassinations or the contention in this community, but it was created right here. And it's not stopping. And again, I'm going to roll those three words out. Prove me wrong. Because just like that, when you run your campaigns, what do you talk about? Oh, you know, I'm going to provide this and that. You don't have specific plans. If you're going to run for office or you're going to come in here, you're going to run for a position or ask for one, have a specific plan of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. That's how things get done. Not talking about pretty pictures or talking about Disney's. If I want to watch freaking cartoons, I'll tune them in on Saturday morning. Well, that's how old I am. That's about as absurd as what's went on here right now. It's going to continue to go on. We'll probably continue on the next item in the next meeting because you don't know what you're doing. The evidence has been proven. Again, I love you guys. You just keep giving me material for every one of these things that I come up with. Makes it greatly easy to do a radio show. I don't even have to prepare. I just flip on the deal and say, look at this. What day does this dais look down at this well and demand of this city of how it's supposed to be run? We're going to roll with this on the next
Up
item,
now.
on the
Sorry,
next-
Roy. Time's up. Thank
I
you.
didn't see a clock. I thought you were just going to let me roll. There must have been a clock malfunction or something going on at the time. And yeah, I thought they were just going to let me roll. I think I got a few extra shekels of seconds going on in there. Here we are a year later, over a year later. The mall's closed. We've dumped $10 million or whatever. Seth Cox's numbers are right. They're not disputing them. They're not giving us transparency. God, it takes every amount of strength I've got to not shove that word right down their frickin' throats. I'm getting so frickin' tired of hearing that. A year later, the mall's closed. We dumped that. You've endangered, 130 people? Got just separate shops in there that have been locked out of their businesses now for, 10 days? Who knows? I've got to believe at this point, there's lawyers all over. I think those people got a humongous case. And they want the city to go in there and get more involved or take this or take over the construction or fixes all the safety violations. They owe $500,000 or almost. That they haven't been paying, in a year for the police protection, for the paltry police protection. My knowledge, only one cop, 4 days a week, 10 hours a day. As I pointed out last Tuesday, Murrieta has 4 cops on duty at the mall down there for every hour the frickin' mall is open. If they're open on Christmas Day, they got 4 cops there. We got 1 cop partially there 4 days a week. And we know the murders and the stuff and everything that go on there. They don't give a crap about your public safety or nothing, or you, or the business owners or nothing. They just want your money. This is Tony Hernandez. He's supposed to be the mall manager representing the mall. This is an interview from Lone Wolf. Only in Moreno Valley could this happen.
Of the Moreno Valley Mall, asking the city to please allow this mall to open, as we have complied with the city's ordinances and the fire matters that safety issues that they had required.
I complied with the city manager. Paul, then why is there $700,000 with fines and 50, 100 violations that have been going on for months, maybe years? And you have less, negative, a gazillion credibility if you're going to try to sell that to us, Tony.
To get done, and we had complied, and basically at this time we need to assist, for the city to assist.
We have complied? Then why aren't you open? You're saying the city over a year and all the violations, and then, you admit there are problems. Oh, but the city's got to open it up. What? So people can get killed?
There's 132 units in the mall, and over 3,000 employees. And I would really, really want the city to please allow these people that need their job.
It's not the city's fault. It's your fault, your company's fault to maintain a mall or your business. Your business is providing them space, safe space, complying with the laws, unless you want to release your lease agreements. It says, no, we got a fire trap over here. It's unsafe. The toilets are overflowing. We put used beams in or whatever's the allegations that are going on. Tony, don't try to run a frickin' game on us.
Jobs to feed their families, to pay the rent, to go back to work.
And don't tug on the emotional heartstrings like the mayor. Like the mayor said, oh, how do you think I feel with all this? Mayor, come in here and defend yourself, because I'm saying you're corrupt as hell. What did you get out of this whole deal to shove this thing down our throats with the boxing club and everything else, with the Garcias? What did you promise them? What did you get? This stuff is getting literally 111% out of control. We want answers. We, the people, the business owners, the patrons, want answers. We want every frickin' document released. We want to know why $500,000 has not been paid for police protection that was the very minimal police protection that was provided, that they're supposed to be paying for. One cop, 40 hours a week at $400,000. That's got to be over a year. Well, there could be some other. That's a year or so's work. I mean, I think it's $350,000 to have a cop on. That's the cost. Tony, do you know that? And you're running the mall. Oh, we didn't do any violations. Shut up, Tony. And you or your fine Orange County lawyer or whom the hell ever can come in here and dispute that. And please bring baby Jesus and Brian Mohan and anyone else you want. We're totally done with this noise. And for Godzillion amount of reasons, but most, we just don't like to be looked in the face and
Woo! All right, Roy, I got you. We're 30 seconds out. I got Dr. Kelly here, and we're almost ready.
Sounds like you're cooking on.
I'm gonna put you on so you can hear the spots coming in, Dr. Kelly.
Got it, man. We're going to be joining the Mighty Met KMET, as Sean said, here in a few seconds. We'll have Dr. Kelly Victory on. Get his thoughts on some of this stuff and more going on. Was one wild weekend.
Here we go, Roy.
One hell of a month.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
That funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the former AM band. Join our vast video audience in the Evil AP Network, YouTube. We're working on some of the other stuff, but type us in, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Man, what a wild weekend. Trump unleashed a barrage of air attack that he says the world has never seen on Iran. The Ayatollah and a bunch of his henchmen are gone. Hopefully the Iranian people will be freed over this of the reign of terror that they've been under for many, many, many decades. We can get the oil flowing, shut it off to China, tell them to stick it up their rear end, you ain't getting a drop. And let's start playing 100-mile-an-hour fastball with this stuff. If we're going in and doing it, and if they had nuclear weapons, I believe we had every justification to go in there and take them out and do whatever. The safety of the people is of utmost and number 1 and number 1A and 2 and 2A importance. Got to get this stuff done. Gavin Newsom tried to blame Trump for the rising gas prices in California, which have went up 50 cents a gallon in the last month. While the rest of the nation went down 10 cents. Yeah, we're probably going to get 5, 10, 15 cents a gallon over this thing. Everybody can handle that. We're going to get it on top of 50 cents of stupid closing down the refineries, and it's all Trump's fault that Gavin Newsom closed down the refineries, and gas and energy and everything else in California is a ridiculous amount of expense. That man is just, don't get me on a roll on that. We'll be here till 2 o'clock in the freaking morning. Carl DeMaio turned in officially the 1.35 million signatures to get voter ID on the ballot. That'll be an absolutely great thing. We also identified the hypocrisy of what is known as the Ghetto Mall, or Moreno Valley Mall, as some refer to it. But, as we usually do on a Monday, we have, as I've determined her, the supreme physician in all the world, expert on COVID-19 and just about everything else, Dr. Kelly Victory. Welcome to IE Newswire with Roy.
Hey, Roy, great to be with you, and great to be with you in an epic week of an attack on Iran, long overdue, and I'm sure that people will lambaste me on social media for saying it, but this was a great thing that President Trump just did.
1,000%. I mean, and I'm probably one of the biggest, you don't get into foreign conflicts unless there's a direct interest in the United States of America. And if they had, and they were getting close to getting nuclear weapons or that, then I think we're totally justified in going in there and taking them out. On top of that, the other thing that really impressed me was the Iranian people in California. We get the biggest Iranian population outside of Iran. They weren't protesting. They were praising the United States of America and Donald J. Trump for freeing. They asked for it. They got it. Gavin Newsom's over there. What's he spitting on them? And especially the women who, and I've got this question for all you ladies that support all this tutti frutti crap. Do you want to be where you running a towel over your face and a man is telling you exactly what, where, and why and how you're going to do it, and you have absolutely no say over it? I mean, some of the logic around this stuff is absolutely nuts. But I'm grateful. The Iranian people are grateful. I wish more were grateful for what we do for them, Dr. Kelly.
I agree, and but I have to maintain, we did the right thing, and the Iranian people will absolutely be the ones who are the recipients of everything good that happens from this. But I maintain that Trump did not do this in order to, quote, help the Iranian people or to address the egregious, terrorist regime they were living over and the repression of women and everything else. He did it because the Iranians were in the process of developing nuclear capability. So when people are, screaming out at me saying, how can you support this? Trump ran as a no new wars president. My response is Trump, first and foremost, ran as an America first president. And if you don't think keeping Iran from developing a nuclear warhead is putting America first, then you haven't been paying attention. So they absolutely were going down that road. There is nothing about what they were doing with nuclear, with enrichment of uranium that was anything other than an attempt to create a nuclear warhead. You don't do that, however far underground they were doing it, if you're trying to create, things for medical purposes. This was a covert effort on their part to develop nuclear capability, and Trump had no choice. There is no such thing as diplomacy with these people. He absolutely did the right thing to keep us and the rest of the world safe. That is America first. And as a side effect of all of this, the Iranian people will have an opportunity to experience and to have the joy of having the kind of freedom that we have here in the United States. The Iranian women will have an opportunity to get back to where they were back in the early 1970s, which was on equal footing with men. But this was done in order to keep America safe.
1,111%. And I agree with that. I mean, the sub part of it is hopefully, Iran, like Venezuela, will come out of that as a free people of that. And it's just like it's going down to Mexico with the assault they've been doing on that with the cartels. They're assaulting and causing death and destruction in the United States. And that stuff needs to stop. I don't care. And I don't remember who pointed out, but that's what somebody pointed out. Our interests mainly are within our borders, but they don't stop there either. And that's what our founding fathers, I believe, said. If there's a direct interest in it, we have every right and responsibility to go after someone out of our country, but only that reason. And I think unless they can prove, like the W. Bush thing, that there were no weapons of mass destruction, if Trump is right, which I have every ability, and I think most people do, there's hardly any dispute that they weren't trying to get nuclear weapons or they weren't really close. I think he was totally justified in the actions he took.
Oh, I think without question. And by the way, despite what the liberals and people are screaming about here, oh my God, we're killing innocent women and children, the number of civilian casualties so far in Iran has been zero. Zero. We decimated their navy, absolutely. We sunk 9 ships to the bottom of the ocean. We decimated their nuclear enrichment facilities. We put a serious hurt on the power structure there, not only killing the Ayatollah, but 40 of his top lieutenants. But let me tell you, if we had actually bombed a school or a hospital or were killing civilians in the streets, you'd be hearing about it. You'd be seeing footage of it. But that's not the case. This was very, very well calculated. There's been no attempt to harm innocent civilians in Iran. This is not a war against the Iranians. This was a war against, an attack against their, absolute refusal of their government to stop going down the path of building a nuclear capability, and that is something we can never allow to happen. And we have set that back now by probably some decades.
111% again on that. The other thing that strikes me is that, the Strait of Hormuz, where all the oil comes through, and that's on the border of Iran. Like with the Panama Canal, we need to take back control of the Panama Canal. When this is all over, we need to have control of the Straits of Hormuz or any of that stuff so we can tell the Chinese Communist Party, screw you. You're not getting a drop of oil anywhere through here at all. You guys figure it out. And I found it interesting. China's talked a lot of tough stuff, but they don't seem to be coming to Iraq, or, Iran's aid, or any of these others that we try to go off. They stand on the sidelines of that. They may grumble a little bit, but that tells me they don't have the military capability or might that some people have put upon them, Dr. Kelly.
I agree. They certainly haven't shown up to defend Iran, at least at this juncture. And I think they haven't because, to be honest, Donald Trump scares them. And that should reassure every red-blooded American. Our president scares them. That is a good thing. That's what we want. So they have not, jumped into this foray because I think they know darn well that, we could put a world of hurt on them, and Donald Trump will. He's just crazy enough that he would do something, and the Chinese and the Russians know it. So I think this is a very good thing. I want a president that the rest of the world is afraid of. I want somebody who they respect. And frankly, as you said, although the Chinese and the Russians are the closest allies with Iran, they have not exactly come to their defense, at least, as of yet. Now, with regard to, are we going to see a rash of violent events here on our own soil? We probably will. We've already seen a few. We saw a shooting in Texas. There was one in Cincinnati. We may see other, quote, lone wolf attacks. I certainly hope not. That can happen. But this is not because of what Trump did, those people were already here. Those cells were already here just waiting for an excuse. So it was going to happen regardless, and hopefully we will get over this very quickly.
Switching gears, something that was disturbing is someone from UCLA, a professor or something from UCLA Medical School, one of the premier medical schools in the world. He said, this is something you better be worrying about, is they're doing grade degradation at our medical schools, for crying out loud. He said they haven't had grades or anything. It's like pass and fail for going through medical school. He said the ones that are most of them compared to the standards of 10, 20, 30 years ago wouldn't probably be an orderly, much less a doctor. You put up on the X machine something like, oh, Make-A-Wish is coming to medical school because it's got this picture up here that I'm putting up. I match social pediatrics, and the picture of the person there says it all. Are we in bigger trouble than I even think in our medical industry moving forward, Dr. Kelly?
Oh, you better believe it. We are in such a world of hurt, Roy. First of all, the people getting into medical school don't hold a candle to the people who were getting in 20 years ago in terms of their academic potential. Furthermore, what they are teaching in the medical schools is all of this social justice, really it's more social studies than it is medicine. What the hell, I'll tell you, what is social pediatrics? If you look at, what specialty would that be? I've been a physician for 35 plus years. What is social pediatrics? I'll tell you, it is the, quote, science, end quote, of helping kids deal with gender issues and all of these social constructs. It has nothing to do with, ear infections and meningitis and whether or not kids are meeting their growth, milestones. So this freak, who's in this photo, who matched in social pediatrics, clearly confused himself about gender, with long pointed fingernails and all this freakish outfit that he's wearing. This is a guy who you don't want anywhere near your kid. And if this is what's coming out of medical school with the, letters MD behind his name, he is able to make decisions, write prescriptions, and put kids on treatment plans that are absolutely horrific. And there are many, many states that are allowing this to happen without the buy-in from the parents. So, yes, we are in a heap of trouble. I would tell people, if you need to find a physician and you're looking for a primary care doctor, try to find someone over the age of 50. Better yet, over the age of 60, because that's the last time when we actually learned medicine, learned science, and weren't being totally indoctrinated with all of this, social and cultural rhetoric.
It smacks of me as we've changed our medical education, doctors and everything from, well, let's just take for kids, from making them healthy, like you explained, taking care of the flu, ear infections, whatever, to making them unhealthy. We're going to start selling off their healthy body parts before they even become adults. This is absolutely insane, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree with you, and it's very, very scary. I really was hoping that a lot of this, and I still am hoping that a lot of this will get turned around under the Trump administration. You may recall that one of the things Trump said early in his term was that, henceforth there are only two genders. Wow, what a concept. So going back to some of the basics. So this kid who just, quote, matched in a residency for social pediatrics, this completely made-up new specialty, he started down that path during the previous regime, during the Biden regime. I'm hoping again that we will see state-by-state legislation that outlaws the ability for a teacher or a doctor to intervene in this way in terms of things like gender identity and to counsel children or, God forbid, start any treatment without the buy-in and involvement of the parents. Furthermore, we are seeing more and more states say that none of this will be allowed until kids are at least the age of 18, some states pushing for 19, 20 years old and beyond. That makes a lot of sense. The idea of that any of this dialogue is even happening before kids are adults is absolute insanity.
I mean, it's been a crying shame that we've let the K through 12 education system go down, our university system down. But again, like this, what are you going to, I mean, you know, are we going to have the witch doctor or something now? That's basically what this is I mean, we're going back to Neanderthal times, basically, with our medical system. I mean, they're just flat hell-bent on destroying the finest medical system that was ever created in the history of the world, it seems like to me, Dr. Kelly.
No, I agree with you. They've gone a long ways at destroying it. And a lot of it has to do with DEI, allowing it, and that's what I joked about, you know, it being a Make-A-Wish program, that anybody can get in. In fact, the lower you are in terms of your scores, if you're a minority, the greater the chances you can get into a medical school. And then they will do whatever they need to do to get you through it. They'll hire tutors for you. They'll let you retake the test. They'll dumb it down so that you can, quote, graduate. It is terrifying. When I was in school, if you couldn't pass it, and a lot of people didn't, you dropped out. They flunked people out. The first year of medical school was a litmus test. Either you made it through or you didn't, and you weeded out the people who did not have the academic prowess to be able to do it. Furthermore, you had to have the work ethic to be able to do it. Now they've got all of these guidelines in place. Oh, they can't work more than 40 hours a week, and they need to have 8 hours of sleep, and they need 12 hours between shifts. I'm like, oh, for the love of God, we are coddling these people as they get through medical training into a way that they are not capable of functioning at a high level when they need to. A lot of what goes on during medical training, or did go on during medical training when I was doing it, was making sure that you were that person who was able to buck up under pressure. You were able to do it, you know, on no sleep. You were able to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, think clearly, work quickly, make the correct decisions, know the right thing to do. If we are now, you coddle these people, who the heck is going to take care of us when we get old, Roy? I hate to say, my best advice is stay really, really healthy, because what you're likely facing if you end up in the ER or, God forbid, admitted to the hospital are these people who are poorly trained, undertrained, and not up to the task.
Just what I wanted to hear is I'm turning 65 and going to be on Medicaid here in June of that. Got a couple minutes left. Anything else our audience should know, Dr. Kelly?
No, I mean, I'm watching very carefully at how things are going with HHS. Last week on Wednesday was the initial committee hearing for Dr. Casey Means, who's the current nominee for Surgeon General. She managed to get through the hearing saying essentially nothing. She dodged questions about pretty much everything from both sides, both the Democrats and the Republicans. I'm guessing that she will be advanced to the Senate for final confirmation for Surgeon General. This is highly unusual. We are well into the second year of Trump's term, still without a Surgeon General. Very unusual, and I continue to maintain that this particular person, Dr. Casey Means, is a horrible pick. She does not have a medical license. She can't practice medicine or write a prescription. She's never done so outside of her residency, which she dropped out of before she completed it. So watching that. Otherwise, rise. There's still good things happening on the HHS horizon. I think Bobby Kennedy's got a head of steam behind him on some of the changes he's making with the new food pyramid, cutting way back on the childhood vaccine schedule, working on getting fluoride out of the water and those sorts of things. So all in all, I think things are going in the positive direction despite their horrible pick for Surgeon General.
Thanks for being on, Dr. Kelly. We'll do this again soon.
Sounds great. Thanks, Roy.
Dr. Kelly Victory saying it only as she can. And like you said, I can't think of another profession, doctor, that you would want to say, well, I want to make sure that the quota system and no, or no, I don't want the best physician operating on me or looking or diagnosing me. I want somebody who dresses tutti frutti and worships to the stars or whatever, and wants to chop off boys' Johnsons and girls' breasts when they're 13 years old. Wow. It's stunning. Stunningly stupid. I want to touch on this because I think Susan Shelley's wrote a column on it, so maybe we'll delve deeper into it on Wednesday. But they just had a new study out, and it appears if they had that Wasco to Merced line tracks built at, who knows, $1 gazillion. Today's dollars, it would lose over $100 billion a year based on the amount they think they could collect versus the amount of cost it would cost to run it. Just like with the Moreno Valley Mall owners, Gavin Newsom, our legislator, most of our politicians, our crooked mayor here that cost us $2 million in a political retaliation suit, that I believe, that's what I believe it was. And please, Ulysses, if you want to dispute that, please come in. We'll give you every opportunity to prove me wrong. Just like everything else. How does that mall get to $500,000 behind on the cop payment? Much less all the other fire and safety and hazard violations that have been going on for years or months or whatever. There's lots of doctors who are not qualified are getting medical degrees. Engineers who are not qualified are designing that bridge you're driving over right now. You better pray for a miracle, a God or something that's going to hold that thing up. Maybe not now, but in the future. Just like that, if you go to the hospital and what are they going to do? Chant and go, or something? Think you'd have a better chance with what? A faith healer coming in. And compared to what's coming out of the medical school. Some of the stuff we've tolerated, Gavin Newsom trying to blame Trump for the refineries closing down in California from Gavin Newsom and the tutti frutti policies we've been doing. Totally astonishing. Beyond astonishing, I should say. Who knows? Maybe we'll straighten this stuff out. I know a lot of people, some are teed off at Trump. Some interesting polling. Maybe we'll be getting to that. Hopefully we'll get to it tomorrow on Tuesday's show. From some pretty left-wing pollers. So I got to believe they're probably not skewing it. There's all sorts of factors going on. And again, I wish Trump would do some different things like Kelly said about the Surgeon General and stuff. But then again, like I say, I or you or all of us are not sitting in that hot seat. Donald J. is. And so far, even overall, I still go to sleep at night at least with the thought that Trump's not behind the scenes screwing all of us royally, like the Gavin Newsoms and Barack Obamas and Bill Clintons and George W. Bushes and Bobby Bush and Bill Clintons and Hillary and Gavin Newsom and Maxine Waters and Pelosi, Baby Jesus, Ulysses Cabrera, Corey Jackson, and the list goes on ridiculously. That'll do it for today. As usually say at this time, mandatory, you're back here 23 hours wide. You're the best darn show in the whole wide world. Till then, see ya.
The preceding was a paid program. Views and claims expressed.
All right, Roy. Yeah, crazy stuff, huh? Every damn week, man. I swear to God. Weren't we just talking about that like Friday or whatever it was, before? I mean, it was like, well, what could happen now? Well.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Check in on Monday.
Well. All right, Roy, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Makes it easy to do a talk show, I can tell you that.
Yeah, you never run out of stuff.
No,
that's for
sure.
Sure.
You just turn it on. Here you go.
All right, Roy, take it easy.
We'll see you.